27th, 25 meeting of the Northampton Historical Commission. The meeting is being recorded. And I wanted to, well, first of all, start with any public comment. I don't think we have anybody in the waiting room. So the only other public individual who is not a member of the commission is here to present. I'm assuming you do not have any public comments. Maybe you do. Okay, so we'll skip that. The next item is the chair's report, and I just wanted to let everyone know, and you may all know this already because you're such devoted Gazette readers, that well, I shouldn't say the Historic Accessory Structures Ordinance was accepted by City Council. So that's pretty exciting, I think. And I thought it was great that Stan Moulton had pointed out how many outbuildings we have in the city that are, possibilities. So it's like nine. He said, I think he said 900 in the article. Yeah. So it's great to see us in there, and also we'll see what comes of it. As I've mentioned, we are doing this outbuilding survey, and Martha has actually offered to take part in that too, to help us identify potential buildings to be surveyed. So that should be a help to the effort, I hope, to see that along. So, and I guess this isn't really historic preservation, but in a way it is. I just wanted to mention to everybody that there's a affordable housing project that's been in the works for a number of years that involves the retrofitting of an old nursing home that's on the corner of Prospect and Bridge Road. I don't know if it's kind of near where you live, Michael. That was funded by CPC, and it's kind of a historic building. I don't know, is it 1960s?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's pre-1975.
So, it's preservation. And they're just about finished with it. As I mentioned, I drive by there almost every day, and it's they're touching up the landscape, and they're renting, and they're having a dedication/opening on the 17th, Sarah, of November. So exciting. The need is so great, and so I just wanted to alert everyone to that, even though it wasn't something we reviewed. It is a historic structure that's been repurposed. Kind of amazing. It's come that way. It went pretty fast. Yeah, they did. And I just remember, this is an anecdote, when we reviewed that on the Community Preservation Committee, and it was a couple of years ago now for funding, and Valley CDC had sent around, images of the building, and, it was a nursing home. It was vacated. And when they vacated it, they just walked out one day. And these images were of patient records flung on the floor, and some of the rooms had, IV drips hanging next to beds. It was really kind of macabre. So after we got over kind of the shock of that, it was, wholly supported. And the other thing that was great about it is the neighborhood really came out and supported this. So it was really impressive, and it's great to see that happening. So that's an aside. All right. We do have a set of minutes, and these date back to August 25th. I don't know if all of you have had a chance to review these. This is when Josie Golden from the VA came to present the VA project, the most recent VA project. And Hannah talked about the preservation awards. Unless anyone has any comments, I'd entertain a motion to approve these. Okay, Greg, and a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Oh, that's right. I don't have to, you do it. I can do it. So all in favor? Okay. Opposed? No. Okay. Unanimously passes. All right. The next item is.
You hear? Yeah, it's quiet. All right. Well, then we're going to have to call Chris.
Shannon's on. Great. Okay, this is a request for a local historic district certificate of appropriateness pursuant to section 195 of the Northampton Code for window replacement. This is at Smith College Hopkins House, which is located at 112 Elm Street. And for the record, that's parcel 31B-247. We did receive materials, and there's a representative here from Smith, I gather. If you could please introduce yourself, and if you have a presentation, I'm assuming you do because we got it as part of our package.
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
I don't have it ready to be online. Is that what you mean?
Sarah can project it.
That.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
great. So if you could just please introduce yourself, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, good, good. My name is Angela Wong. I am a architect as well as a project manager at Smith College. And we would like to work on this Hopkins house at 112 Elm Street. The scope of work is really just replacing 7 windows on the 3rd floor, which are on the attic of the house. This house was bought by Smith in 1920. The last time these 7 windows were replaced was around 2000, the year 2000. And my understanding, I wasn't here then, but my understanding from records was that they were kept in line with what they originally looked like. They were casements, and now we would like to replace them with awnings. We think that the casement folks usually leave them open and stay open, and then it gets worn by the 3 exposed sides, and water penetration comes in because you're not able to close it tight anymore. So we think the awning solution may be better because the water will flow off by its opening the way it works. And that's how that's what we would like to do. We could turn to the next page if you don't mind, Sarah. So I have the presentation. This is just the 3rd floor, and there are 7 there are 7 windows. They're not very big. Next slide, please. So on this, I go through each elevation. This is the west elevation, and there are those 2 small ones on top. So you could see one, they're both awnings. Next slide, please. That's current, and this is what we're proposing, that the left side, you have a fixed awning, and now the opening is a little bit smaller, and then you have the fix on top. We're keeping the muttons the same way, and then you would have an opening that's an awning that is smaller than the entire thing being open as a casement. They're going to be insulated glass units, double pane. I have a sample of what we would be installing right here. And the other side would be full awning, the same size opening. They're not very big. Next slide, please. North elevation, pretty much the same. 2 awnings, 2 casements become 2 awnings. Next slide, please. The next slide shows same kind of deal. Any questions so far?
Angela, just so we're oriented, everyone understands the orientation. So north would be the side that's facing Elm. Am I right about that? It's a weird.
It's a weird orientation.
Yeah.
North and south do not face
Okay.
Elm. The short side, the next slide, if you don't mind.
So the west one was would face the pond, basically,
Mm-hmm.
that side.
Let me see. I got a little confused myself.
The reason I'm asking this is that we are limited to weighing in to features that are that are visible from a public way. I don't know if you would consider the west-facing windows visible from a public way, but go ahead.
Sorry, I got a little confused.
It's
So the
okay.
north elevation is the side that faces Elm.
Okay,
So
okay, so west would be, okay,
um, we could go back to the plan, the third floor plan, the second page. The north is facing that way. There's no north arrow on there, but north is that way.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hang on. The right, the left side is the north side.
This one.
Mm-hmm. Which is page 1, 2, 3. Page 5 shows the north elevation. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so that is the Elm Street facing elevation? Okay. All right, got it.
So both of those attic windows look the same. They have like a cross trim button. And the next page shows how we're changing them
Mm-hmm.
with the same idea, same shape, same dimensions, except you have a fix on the light on the top and awning on the bottom. And they would be, has higher insulated value because they're double pane. Um, it,
It opens like.
so if this is the window, it opens like that.
There's like a single hinge on the top.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
hinge on the top and it opens out like that. And whereas casement opens like this.
It's a good question.
Yeah, that's
I have them in my house, so I know.
And kids, they tend to leave them out open. Let's,
I guess that's something that we would have to determine. I mean, I would say yes. They would not be visible from the pond because that's not a public road, right? Or, well, yeah, even if. So northwest and east.
Question, please. These windows were replaced in 2000? Okay.
about 25 years ago.
Thank you.
Shall we go to the next page, please? South elevation. There.
So this is facing the pond, correct?
Mhm,
Okay, so these would not be subject to
correct.
local historic district review.
I'm sorry, I don't have a site plan. The pond, you mean the,
Or the rear of the
The-
structure.
The rear of the
Smith-
building.
Mhm.
Yes, the
it's
Smith.
kind of very far from here.
Yes.
From the
Relative direct.
Not that far.
There's,
No.
there's a road shapen drive and then there's, a new building that was just
Right.
built, McCartney Hall.
Yes,
And then beyond McCartney Hall.
Is the
McCartney Hall
pond.
is 3 stories and beyond that is College Lane and
Right.
beyond College Lane is the pond.
yeah. Yeah, I think we know. Okay.
And then the next slide, please. This slide summarizes what we're doing with the new window specs. So we're replacing 7 windows on the 3rd floor, the tiny attic windows. It talks about the size of the jambs, about 4 inches. The glass is low E with argon, insulating glass unit. The exterior finish will be white as it is now. and it's white extruded aluminum clad, which is, here you see the green. You're welcome to come touch it if you like. This is the aluminum clad part, and the interior finish is wood painted. It will be painted white as it is now. And then dividers lights would be 7/8 of an inch, which is what it is now. The U factor is 0.3. The solar gain coefficient is 0.26, and visible light transmitted is 0.44. Sorry for all the technicalities there, but I thought some people might want to know. And the last page has some details if you're curious, but here's a sample of a corner if you want to come have a look, or I could pass it around.
Maybe pass it around. That would be great.
You want to go to?
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions
Well,
about it?
before we do that, I just want to remind everyone of the guidelines, our standards, design standards for the district. And I'm sure you've had a chance to look up at this. Just wanted to remind you of a couple of things here. So these are not original windows that we're replacing.
No.
Thank you. Okay. So I think that the guidelines guide us to retaining or repairing windows unless they're beyond repair. That really pertains to original. These are pretty contemporary windows, so I think we can probably let that one go. The other thing that we like to do is replace with the same material if possible. So does anybody have any thoughts about that? And you, Hannah, you probably know more about the window material than the rest of us. Maybe not?
the g- well, it seems like these windows have the fiberglass treatment on the front and then the wood on the inside, correct? That's how they're made, yeah.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
The aluminum is
Excuse me.
cladding the wood.
It's cladding the wood, so it's like a treatment
it-
that goes on the wood, just on the outside, and then
So-
there's wood in the interior. So, from like I mean, they're not replacing original windows, and they're these small 7 window, I mean, the awning style probably isn't necessarily like the correct replacement finish, really, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, the shape of the window, but the style, isn't correct anyways.
Mhm.
So, your question is how I felt about the aluminum versus wood, because they're wood now, wood casements
They're
now.
actually like that. now.
They are.
They are
Yeah,
already.
I wondered if they were already, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tricky because obviously the treatment, makes it so there isn't as much damage. Yeah.
Are they in bad condition, the windows that are there now?
They are.
So there was no assessment done of the windows themselves, but
No.
you have photos.
The photos are in here, but it's hard. Photos always make things look better, but they are in bad shape. It's been 25 years of leaving it open to the rain, weather.
Yeah. Okay.
They need replacement.
They look like they're double hung.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know some are double hung,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure of all of them.
But the originals were probably double hung. Likely.
Likely,
Second.
yes. I think the second floor, from looking at the photos, that one looks double hung. One of them.
And so the third floor, they weren't, the original, not likely, is it?
I think so.
The original's from the
would go-
13.
It seems like that.
It would be hard to do double hung on that shape.
Yeah,
Right,
oh,
exactly,
definitely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm thinking is, I don't know that casements were widely used.
I'm not an expert, but I would think yes, given in,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
I would.
So I'm thinking about the difference when the awning windows are open, they're much more efficient and secure in a sense because they don't allow for the intrusion of water has been a problem. But they will have a very different look at that third floor.
In terms
Especially
of
when
when
they're open.
Yeah, just when they're open,
Because
yeah.
when closed, no problem. Open, it's a very different look.
Is that building air conditioned?
Parts of it,
But not the third floor?
parts of the third floor is air conditioned.
Okay.
I'm saying that because I saw some portable AC.
I saw that in the
things.
photo as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So my best guess is that that room AC wasn't working. My best guess is it does have AC.
But it's not working properly or?
Well,
I
it's like
think
the
so.
portable window.
Oh, no, yeah, I was
Mhm.
thinking more like mini splits or something like that, or forced hot air, probably not in that building. but-
I think some of the parts of the building has mini splits. I don't know if I can find out if the third floor all have.
Well, I just
AC.
wondered if long-term, you know, not to say that people don't open the windows, when it, to get fresh air in, because I'm sure they do. But I'm just thinking if it's long-term improvements, because Smith is always upgrading, you know, they were planning on, having air conditioned throughout, would the windows be used less and with the requirement for an awning, which is a more contemporary look on a building of this style.
Well, the insulation in the windows itself will help with heating and cooling issues.
Yeah.
So that would improve
Yeah.
the daily condition, the heat, and yeah.
Okay. The other thing was the divided lights, and we do have guidelines about that or standards, and the options are authentic divided or simulated divided with spacer bar between insulating glass. Those are the two, so. And you're saying that you are gonna be,
Simulated.
These are
Simu-
simulated.
yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have questions for Angela? Right, Anna, Michael, anybody?
I don't, no. I think I'd have more questions if they were windows that were more, the features in the windows on the other floors. The windows in the other floors seem to have more features, but these windows in these small dormers, it seems like a practical solution to the preservation of the building as a whole.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Are there dormitory rooms upstairs? Is that on the third floor? Is that how it's used?
These windows are dormitory for dormitory rooms, yes.
Okay, where they're small, okay.
So according to Perplexity, awning windows.
yeah, not awning, yeah.
No, I know, you said
Yeah.
casements were,
Yeah.
and I was checking on both, so I'm just thinking about.
Mm.
So this is a style that is more,
Definitely, yeah. No. The awning style that they're replacing the windows with the hinge that we were just describing is more contemporary style that didn't exist. And the style that opened, the casement where the hinge is on the side of the windows, would be more common and y-
From that.
Mhm.
Is that building, used in the summer? As a
Kids
resident?
move out in the summer.
Yeah.
But certain buildings get used when there are events. I'm not sure how often this building gets used in the summer. I could find out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how often those are opened,
Mhm.
really. If it's not, if, probably not in the winter. I don't know what the heating is in like there. I know when I was in
Kids
college, it
open
was like
windows.
4,000 degrees in our dorm room. It was, which was a concrete block building built after the Second World, or after the First World War.
They stay open in the spring and the fall.
Oh, they do?
Kids even
Okay, you're answering
leave
my
them open in the
question.
winter.
Yeah,
They just do things like that.
yeah.
My kids do things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the awning style for that building, but I do think that the integrity of the building is going to be protected by the awning style because of the moisture issues. So
Yes,
that's sort of
agree
where
with you.
I
Yeah.
kind of feel.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And also, Martha, I think that you make a good point how the window openings aren't changing. Because one thing you could have done is, you know, boarded up the top part of the the triangular part of the window and just had a painted panel in there. And then, so you're maintaining the exterior look of it, I guess, that part of it. I think it's actually kind of imaginative. Greg, do you have any thoughts? Okay. All right, if there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion for moving on this. Does anyone want to formulate a motion?
Greg's our motion man tonight.
I'll make a motion for their certificate of appropriateness.
For the windows as presented?
Yes.
Okay. Second? Okay, all right, any more discussion? Okay, so all in favor? Opposed? Okay, it passes. So your certificate will be issued. And we'll
Thank you,
be
everyone.
looking for the new look.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Angela. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next, we have,
Yes.
Yeah.
oh yeah, take the window.
Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah, I know. Okay. You're welcome to stay if you want, but you're also welcome to leave. So you have other things to do tonight. All right, we just have a couple other things on the agenda. I don't know if Hannah, you want to give any update on the historic plaques you've been working on? Just tell people where that is.
I went and met with Dylan at the library and we did some digging looking for any imagery, illustrative, photographic. We looked through old advertisements. We looked for the original drawings of the seal and we didn't find them, but he actually followed up that he had found some more notes about the specificities of each design element in the seal that I haven't looked over yet.
Oh,
So yeah, that could be interesting.
yes.
So that just happened over the last few days. So I don't have a lot pulled together, but I thought probably by our next meeting, I could have some imagery to share, I hope. Yeah, that we could all sort of weigh in on. Yeah.
So just to recap, where else are we on this? Because I know there's been a lot of back and forth, some back and forth between Sarah and you and me. Um, we're talking about a medallion.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of this is to,
Well, we were talking about a medallion as an award issued by our commission for preservation.
Mhm.
And then we were also talking about folding in other historical markers and plaques that exist or that we want to exist, folding in the design work. So there's a continuity in all of the designs under our historic preservation wing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Sarah, you may want to weigh in on this too, or maybe I'm asking you to, even though you don't feel well, I'm sorry. Um, That, this idea of the medallion as a word
Mm-hmm.
item is sort of generated this discussion about having, a look at all of our historic markers in the city. And there
Mhm.
are a lot of different ones. I mean,
Mhm.
I notice them now when I walk around.
Yeah.
And also when I go other places too, I'm noticing them more. That it would be great to have kind of a design or a plaque or sign program, so to
Mhm.
speak, that um, that gives us those, specifications for the different types of signs and plaques that we're using. They all kind of work together as a theme. I
Yep.
think that's a really nice thing to do. So, Sarah had noted that we do have some money in our gift account.
We do. So the Historic Commission has a gift account that can take donations. A lot of it was reserved for work at the Northampton State Hospital, so that wouldn't be available for this project. We also gain some, but certainly not very much funding through sale of historic books at Historic Northampton. So there is a little bit of money available for design of this project. And as Martha noted, there's historic markers and plaques are just all over the place in the city. There's some, like this property has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. That's like a standard bronze plaque. It's a little bit larger. You'll see those in other communities as well, but that's totally up to the homeowner. They want to put something like that on their house, and we don't have anything to differentiate anything in Northampton from
Right.
any other community. So it'd be nice to have some common design elements.
And we have two upcoming sort of national registry events, or I mean, yeah, happening, right, between the Florence Project and Laurel Park. That would probably,
Yes.
it would be nice to fundraise for that or put that out in the community. That, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are going to take a while to get processed.
Right.
But it's certainly something to have our eyes on for
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah.
So, so then we started talking a little bit about maybe applying for money through community preservation for
Mhm.
design fees to work on this, and that would be for the spring, which is deadlines in January probably, right?
Yeah.
So, I, what do people think about that? Do you have any thoughts about, what we should include? Hannah said that she was working with Dylan about trying to get some imagery together that's reflected in the city seal. Anybody have any ideas about things that should be included or designs that we might want to consider?
I had a question about the size. What are you thinking in terms of size of all these? Like a medallion that's this big or?
Yeah.
this-
We were thinking in our first conversation, we were thinking for the award, it has to be somewhat affordable. We have to still sort of suss out how that program is going to work, but it has to be affordable, and bronze and placed on the exterior of probably residences
Mhm.
mostly. So we were thinking about 6 inches, I think, just in our initial conversation or
You-
so. So yeah,
You can't get much imagery on something
no,
this big,
no,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be simple.
Mhm.
And the other thing too, I think not only the cost, but also just the weight of these
Yeah.
bronze is
Mhm.
heavy
Mhm.
on a house.
Yeah, there's different thicknesses, so that would be considered, and
Yeah.
mounting styles would be considered for
Mhm.
that. I mean, the larger placeholder plaques throughout the city, would probably be a
Mhm.
heftier
Mhm.
thickness, and obviously different scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a image that would stand for the whole city except the river, but
Yeah, the river, or even I think
Mhm.
we were looking at some like Moser, just like and etchings, and trying to find maybe like a nature theme or a leaf or something, or even just like a simple silhouette of the city skyline or one or two buildings. So it can't be,
Yeah.
something that small can't be that graphic, and you want to have some. We all want to talk about it, obviously, but I'm sure we want to have some wording, that says either like this is a historic preservation award, or
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess we have to discuss how much content we want on the award.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad that there isn't just like other than the city seal, which every city has, some sort of an image that, I think, pulling something out of the seal is a great idea because you're not conflicting with it. You're
Right.
actually just honoring it.
Yeah.
But it's simplifying
Yeah.
to one image. So,
Especially in bronze, I think the whole seal itself would be too busy.
Yeah.
mhm.
There's some Latin, there's Northampton, there's Nonotuck, there's two different years, there's two
Mm.
people, and then a barn, and the rivers. And it's just,
That's
it
on
would
the
be too
seal?
busy. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's right there. Actually, if you could, you can
Am I
sort of
looking?
walk up to it when the meeting's over, because
Mhm.
it's engraved in that circle on the podium.
Oh,
Which you
Yeah.
can see so well.
I know.
Right.
I'll pull it up. Give me a
Yeah,
minute.
see it.
I can't
Yeah.
even see that there's anything.
So that's the thing I was looking for. I was just sort of searching for a few sort of see if there was any sort of standout imagery that connected to an important person in Northampton, or a building, or an element of our history, something that had been thought of before. So that's sort of what I was hunting for. But yeah, let me know if anything.
Oh, farming,
My.
that would be about, I mean, isn't that what we were originally? Farming?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This
there's
is-
also a silk industry. I mean, there's so much.
Mhm.
There was,
Here's some examples of some other awards and plaques that towns around the country do. And then I think the second page has our seal.
The thing,
And I put the seal up on
Oh.
the screen too. There's a lot in there.
There's a lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
let's see, and didn't Shepherd House guy
Yes.
design?
He was the
I don't know his
designer
He did.
of
name.
the city.
He did, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I thought so.
yeah,
So we have to honor him too.
yeah.
Maybe a portrait of him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
That is a busy season.
But we had talked about, well, as I might harp on this, the entrance to the local historic district, which are green, and they're out at either end of at the Elm Street district, and they're really they're at the end of their life. Let's put it that way.
Right.
There's then some of the other buildings. I think there's also a National Register district sign at Pomeroy. Didn't they do
Oh.
something down there?
There is, so that was donated by the Pomeroy family, and they have their own look and feel for signage. And there's also another one in front of the DAR house on South Street,
Right.
the Lafayette,
Yes.
which has the same
It
dimension.
has that very
but-
traditional. look.
Yeah, but different colors. than the
Different
front
colors,
end.
yeah.
Well, I think that must be the Oxbow back there in the back.
Mm-hmm.
well, any kind of structure that we choose, we're sort of weighing in on a particular period, right? So that's sort of
Right,
an
Michael.
issue.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's natural doesn't seem particularly historic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it could be, but there's this way in which we're sort of,
We're sort of recognizing structures, so it is like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's tricky.
And, to my mind, what people think of when they think of Northampton a lot is that kind of late 19th century building boom, the creation of the downtown kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, there are a lot of people that really lean towards the more colonial
The
aspect.
New
of our-
England.
the-
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
So those are interesting questions.
Yeah, one type of architecture that's not reflected in the city seal due to its age would be Richardsonian Romanesque, which is
Yeah.
there are some
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
examples of in
Yeah,
Northampton.
yeah, exactly.
Like a-
I mean, the other thing in this, I'm looking at the city seal close, I can pass this on, is there is a really nice silhouette of the Holyoke Range and the river, kind of leading to the city. And that could also be something that could be used as a base for it, Sarah.
The river.
Yeah, and the range, because I think of the range as something, it's like a backdrop to the city.
Mhm.
Um, Okay, well, this is all something that we could get involved in with graphic designer.
Mhm.
And I think it's, if everyone's amenable to that, we can try to work on that for the spring, Sarah, now that you
Sounds great.
don't have anything else to do.
I like the range and the river too, sort of contained in the circle, and I like
Mhm.
the north, like blending that in
Mhm.
the seal. I mean, Betty and Lori at the Historical Society, or particularly Betty, was a little down on the moth as a.
I think a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's like, why are there butterflies?
It was like a, yeah, like it was like such
Huh?
a small moment that it's
Yeah.
not of huge significance.
And
so-
Betty, who wrote the, the flood book.
Right.
Right, yeah.
She's like, do the river, do the river.
Yeah, right.
But and I mean, and the river's significant for
Okay.
industry and
Yeah.
our mill history and all
Yeah,
that. So it's
transportation.
a safe bet. It's just like not the most interesting profile besides the oxbow. It's just like,
Mm.
yeah, just from the research I did at the library. But yeah, I'll compile the things
Mhm.
that I looked at so we can get some more feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. All right, great. Is there anything else? There's so much going on in Historic Northampton. I guess we don't even really need to talk about that. You can go on their website and look, but
Mhm.
um,
Go to the exhibit.
yep, the exhibit.
So have you been? It's just.
I haven't been yet.
fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. Has everyone else been?
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Martha, you probably have.
I've been, but it wasn't open,
Oh, okay.
Ah.
All right.
so.
I'd be happy to arrange like an evening event and a tour for all of us to go to or be part of that if you
That would be
are interested.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Invite your families or yeah. I just did that this week with like trying to pull in people from the community that didn't know about the
Mhm.
Historic Northampton at all. And we visited the barn and then went to the exhibit. It was a really great showing and people were just floored. I mean, it's a really fantastic exhibit. So yeah, if you're interested, I'd be happy to arrange that.
I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
people feel.
Great.
Okay.
I'll talk to Betty and Lori about some evening times and maybe during the week would be best, not over the weekend. And I'll sort of doodle or something.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you, Hannah.
You're welcome.
So Michael, do you want to tell us what's going on with I don't know if it's any update from last month, but you did send around the summary of the narrative for the Florence
Right.
district.
Right. Well, so where things stand is there's a narrative now that's going to go off to MHC. The narrative it doesn't really focus on the architectural
Yeah.
features of the district so much as it does the question of what are going to be the boundaries of the district and how is it that these buildings as an ensemble hang together around the themes of abolition and reform. And the narrative is attempting to do that in a concise way. And then Steve has assembled some descriptions of various structures that are within the district that are going to be part of it. Part of the thing that the Mass Historical Commission is concerned about is that the size of a district, if it gets too big, then it might be sort of like a Swiss cheese kind of a thing where there are big holes in it. And therefore you want to reset the boundaries so that a majority of the structures within the boundary of the district connect to the theme. So that's what we're trying to get to, is a narrative that explains why this ensemble of buildings connect to this theme
Mhm.
of abolition and reform. And as Sarah has pointed out, we don't have Form Bs on all of these structures. So that's an issue. So if we can get Mass Historical to say, yes, those boundaries look pretty good, then we can go forward with figuring out what next steps would be, which I guess would be to get Form Bs on the other structures within the district. And that would involve requiring hiring a consultant to do that.
What's a Form B?
So the Massachusetts Historical Commission has an inventory system that's used to basically record visual and historic information about buildings,
Oh,
structures,
okay.
objects, landscapes, cemeteries, et cetera, et cetera. And the B form, there's also an A form, which is for an area. B is for building.
Okay.
The E form is for cemeteries. I know that. I think Parks and Landscape might be
Mhm.
F. I can't remember. But anyway, so the B forms are, done per property. So the B
Okay,
form
so
would
it's
be-
a really detailed discussion of each property.
It can be. They're requiring more and more information as time goes by.
Mhm,
So.
mhm.
But, so Michael, I did have a question about that, and I don't remember the discussion that we had in the field. You note a note at the bottom that your last paragraph that more than 50 of the properties are associated with the themes of abolition and reform. What about the others?
Mhm.
What about the others? Well, basically, they're in the hole of non-contributing. I mean,
Oh, okay.
so what we think we have is structures that were occupied or used by
Right.
either members of the association or subsequent sort of people who were leading figures in the Free Congregational Society and the remaining sort of congregational society. So all of those people. Oh, and also the kindergarten is
Yeah.
in there as well, and so the kindergarten movement, suffrage. People associated with all these different themes of abolition
Yeah,
reform.
right.
So on some level. So every one of those structures. Now, some of the structures were occupied by people who are very prominent, and other structures were structures that were occupied by people that simply were, the person who built the house and occupied it was a member of the pre-congregational society or congregational church, or, was involved in something that tied them to it, but we can't really see anything significant. Others are like Sojourner Truth, right?
Right.
Oh,
Like that.
big. Well, I thought the opening could be a little clearer. I mean, I had to read it a number of times
Hmm.
to figure out. I mean, it comes out later in the narrative, but
Mhm.
it could come out maybe more clearly at the beginning.
Mhm.
The other question I had is how it compared to other utopian communities and whether that's worth going into. What makes this one
We-
significant,
So the
let's say?
people at Mass Historical know, what makes it significant compared to others? Well,
Mm.
I think the reason that's not there is we're trying to keep the people at Mass Historical focused on what their question was, and their question, like, they know how it fits into the history of other utopian
Okay.
communities. And they have been looking at documentation associated with this district for 5 years now.
Okay.
5 years. So really what we were trying to do with the narrative, and a lot of that's me trying to keep us focused because Steve is very much into historical detail. So this
Yeah.
this is really an eyes-only narrative for Mass Historical Commission.
Okay.
So there is assumed knowledge there, which might make things less clear. But on the other hand, if you have pointers like that, it might be good for us to consider that because, I'm so focused on just talking to Ben Haley that
National Register.
yeah, who's,
Well-
yeah, there may be things that are missing that
Mhm.
would be worth having there.
Yeah, I guess I wondered whether, compared to the others, I only know of 3 or 4 others. I don't know how many. I mean, Brook
Historic
Farm
districts.
and
No utopian community?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether this
Oh.
one had a longer lasting effect, whether it was more cohesive,
Mhm.
whether there is some distinction to this
Right.
one.
And that's really clear in the other documentation, and that's really what the sort of thing that a consultant will be pulling together. Because like this is like two pages.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that is going to be like, probably the final documentation will look
Yeah.
like 80 pages or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
How does the process of getting a consultation work, and does that involve us or just, yeah?
So in any local historic, not any National Register district nomination has to be approved by the local historical commission. They're often not compiled by local historical commissions, but this one got to a place where it was either like somebody needs to step in and do some additional work and figure out what to do next, or we let it sit. So we don't have any funding at this point to hire any additional consultants to do the Form Bs and any other narratives or other work.
And ultimately, the Ruggles Center will be the
Consultant.
submitter.
Okay.
No, probably not.
Probably
No,
not.
and they don't have any more funding. So their Community Preservation Act award is done.
Oh, I see.
But
Yeah.
they didn't get to a place where they were ready to submit for a National Register district nomination. So the Historical Commission doesn't necessarily need to move this forward to the next step.
Mhm.
We could put it on hold. We could say, this is a great narrative. This is wonderful historic research, but it's far from the finish line. It isn't something that is our priority at this point.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think, so the reason I asked why, about the other properties that aren't necessarily related to or associated with these themes. And that might become a problem with the boundaries. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then the other part about it is that, and Michael and I, we've talked about this, is the other big piece of this is the National Register nomination has to include a physical description of this district, which means talking about all the architectural styles, the landscape, the whole, what it looks like. And that's a, significant amount of work. And then the B forms, of course, have to inform that.
Right.
That's part of what they have to inform.
Yeah.
So, and there's some very, very good consultants in Massachusetts that do this all the time. And they would be able to take this on and, probably put it together for us if we were really clear with them about where we were going with it. I think the problem with the Ruggles Center is they didn't really understand the process so well. And so the project got out of control because there wasn't really anyone guiding it that understood the National Register process, even though the consultants did, but they didn't they didn't follow the rules. So
I think a lot of documentation is there.
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, is it isn't
Yeah.
starting from zero. Ben told me that more than 50% was likely to be okay,
okay.
but that's
That's what I
unofficial.
thought. Yes,
That's
okay.
unofficial,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the other thing too is that sometimes buildings are, valuable for their architectural significance
Mm-hmm.
as part of
Sure.
the district. And so
Sure.
maybe they
That
didn't
makes
have an abolition or reform member living
That's a good point.
in them or having built it or even set foot on it. But if the
Uh-huh.
architecture,
But they are
the
significant.
district hold together,
period,
that
and
could be
yeah,
part of it
yeah,
too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because it's physical and it's a social cultural circle.
My estimation, I think it's an important project, obviously, but my estimation is that a consultant who knows what they're doing can tap into what's already there.
Yeah, should be able to.
And then there's, we just need to figure out how many Form Bs are missing, get those done.
Yeah.
And then I think sort of it could be put together, in
Yeah.
a relatively efficient way. I hate to see it not go forward because there is a lot of work in it, but, you know, that's just. my
Yeah, and it's a really important, it's an important district.
Yeah.
I think in Mass Historical, I think really feels that way about it. They've told us that anyway. They'd like to see it happen. We just have to get down to. But Michael, we really appreciate all the work you've done, especially working with Steve to get
Yeah.
this where it,
Yeah.
where it is. And,
Yeah, there's a wealth of information in that
Yeah.
last part where you go house by house.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it really, it sounds important when you get
Yeah.
to that part.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's indicative of how much, that's indicative to me, that's just the tip of the
Mhm.
iceberg.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much more documentation that's there. There's, so that was done, but it wasn't assembled in a way that made everything kind of
Mhm.
intelligible, and the boundaries of the district were too broad.
Yeah.
Mass Historical got nervous because it seemed like
All of Florence.
yeah.
it was.
It really was. If
Yeah.
someone had
Yeah.
the first iteration was
Yeah.
really most of Florence.
Well, it looked like
Like a whole
Park Street.
town.
I mean, if you just went down Park Street, that's kind of the core.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I think it's important to move this along and, I know and I just finished working on a project that actually about a year ago now at the Oneida community in central New York, which
Mm-hmm.
was the longest running utopian community in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And these are fascinating places and they really deserve so much recognition because they speak so much about who we were in that period of time and in
Mhm.
some ways not that much different today, but I think it's just very important to hold on to this and
Mhm.
to try to move it forward and give it some prominence in Northampton's history
Yeah.
and beyond. So, okay, so what's your plan to get this to MHC?
So I was just wondering if, so Martha, you have some input, if you could.
No, sure.
If you could just put that.
I've mostly just said it.
Yeah,
but-
no, I know, but if there's.
Yeah, other
anything-
thing, I mean, I
anything
think
else.
there's so many reforms. It's almost like, could they be focused on some, I mean, it's there for this and this and this and that. I mean, the list is so long.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
part of it is simply to not go into that detail, but to refer to it and try to keep the
Okay.
focus on that, on those properties in that area.
Okay.
And get to a point where Ben and Michael at MHC say to
Mhm.
us, okay, these boundaries look pretty good. We
Mhm.
see what the logic of what you're trying to do. Let's talk about next steps, because
Yeah.
they'll have some thoughts about things. And
Yeah.
so I see this as more dialogic than
Okay.
we're not making a formal submission. It's more, let's keep because the dialogue broke down for a whole
Mm.
variety of reasons.
Mhm.
So all I'm trying to do is get us back to a place where we feel like we're all,
Mm.
agreed.
Named. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we're all moving in the same direction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
So Sarah and Martha,
Yeah.
also, if you have any comments, otherwise I'll just go ahead and get in touch with Ben and say, we're ready to send you this.
Okay.
and go
Yeah,
from
and
there.
then if he wants to do a follow-up, we had a Zoom meeting with him and Michael before, do you remember?
right.
And we might want to have another follow-up to just.
That's fine. So I'll just, I can, then I should just go ahead and get in touch with Ben and ship.
I
we
think
should ship
so.
the stuff off.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, let's just move it
Yeah,
along.
I mean, it's not a
But-
big deal. It's not a formal proposal.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a volunteer project at this point. It's not
It is.
Right.
directly under the historical commission's purview,
Right.
at least at this level, so you feel free to work on it.
Okay.
Okay.
I just didn't
Okay.
want to do anything without
Right,
letting
'cause
you
we're
know
not-
where we were and what we were up to.
Yeah, we're not, it's not violation of public meeting or open meeting law because we're not deciding anything. We're just trying to,
Okay.
at some point, we will have to decide as a commission about moving it forward and, yeah, okay, great. Good. Okay, anything else? Anybody wants to share? Okay, we need to send Sarah home.
I'm sorry, I'm gross, I'm
bit.
sorry.
No, no, I was like a week ago. It's just like you.
Cold or flu or?
It's just just a run of the mill cold. I feel fine. like,
Congested.
Yeah.
That's the same with me. Yeah. And then you can't sleep because it's all, anyway, let's not get into it. Okay. Oh, so, unless I have any more comment or anything, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Yes.
oh, wow.
Good night, everybody. We'll